Now, I don't have any kids, but I guess my Google searches for...
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've got an envelope in my... Well, I hate to tell you. No.
What a twist that would be.
Love it or leave it.
And we're back. Please welcome Nwodim.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you. Thanks
Great
for being
to see
here.
you. Thank you for having me.
First of all, how are you here? You must be exhausted.
I am always exhausted. My friend told me before you make any tough decisions, you should halt. That is, discern whether you are hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. I'm all of those things all the time.
Yeah, I guess I'll never
So
make
I'll
another
never
fucking
make a hard
decision.
decision again in my life.
Yeah, but it's SNL in an election year.
Yeah, but we're off this week. We happen to be on hiatus this week.
And you're just going to work through it.
Does this work? This is fun.
It is fun, but I mean...
Yeah.
You know.
But also I like working. Blessed to be able to work. So,
Yeah.
aw. She's grateful.
Nice. Now, you have a new podcast.
Yes.
And it's called... And tell people what it's about. It's
Okay.
called Thanks, Dad.
It's called Thanks, Dad. Today, my friend called it Thank You, Dad. And I go, it doesn't quite have the same ring to it, but it's called Thanks, Dad. I was raised by a single mom. Don't have a relationship with my dad. I'm never going to have a relationship with him because turns out he died last year. It's okay. No, it's not sad. I want you to laugh. I'm a comedian. Thank you. That's the response. I like this audience.
Yeah.
They listen.
You gotta bully them sometimes.
Oh, no.
But their hearts are in the right
They're
place.
easy. That's what was
they're
so
good,
easy.
They're good people.
Yeah, I think they're
Most of them.
sweet people. They mean well.
One of them's gonna write postcards. Some of them aren't doing shit.
Oh, no?
A couple of them.
So a couple who? Point them out.
I was trying. I protected their anonymity.
Lights on in the house and point them out.
Like that guy
I'm
in the
feeling
third
violent.
row.
Okay, no. Third row. Third row. Okay,
But
I
so-
can see the third row.
So you
Yes.
started this podcast. Your
Yes.
dad's dead. It's funny.
It's funny, not
Eh,
sad.
Not sad. Funny.
Yeah.
Dead dad. That's a funny one.
It's fun. It's a funny
funny
dead-
thing.
It's silly.
It's silly, it's
Okay,
goofy.
So I have father figures come on the podcast to be my dad for the day, and I get to talk to them about what their dad was like, and then what they are like as dads, and then they end each episode, or I end each episode asking them for a piece of dad advice. I coined that recently.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know if I
dadvice.
like it. It might be too corny, but
Oh, you
I
think
do get
so?
a piece of advice from them. What do we think? It's
should
good?
be
Okay,
corny.
Thank you. I like this audience.
Yeah. I saw someone on Twitter talking about a dad joke their dad told them
Okay.
about what happened when water from the morning had caused a fence to open and let some pigs loose. And he sang...
I don't follow, but keep going.
Well, he's saying, do let the hogs out.
Aw. Sad. See, I said sad to a funny thing.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Now
sometimes
we're on
people
the
don't know.
same- they don't
Yeah,
know.
Now it's even playing
Do
field.
let the hogs out.
I got it. I did get I got
I thought that was a good dad joke.
I got it.
It was in a
Yes.
very moving poem, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating.
Do you find having a podcast, Dad, for a few minutes helpful?
I find it, yes, sure. It seems a lot of these dads, I've had wonderful guests on the podcast, not to disparage my guests, but it seems a lot of them aren't equipped to advise me, and that makes me feel like I didn't miss out
Okay.
on having a dad. It's rather healing. I go there, nobody knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing.
Nobody knows what they're doing. It's all a ruse.
Now, I don't have any kids, but I guess my Google searches for...
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I've got an envelope in my... Well, I hate to tell you. No.
What a twist that would be. But my Google searches for more fiber, please, help, toilet shattered, did tip the algorithm.
Okay.
Because half the videos I get are about parenting, and boy, I've noticed a trend. And here's the trend.
Okay.
How people treat fathers online versus mothers. And so we're going to explore it in a game we're calling Double Stand Dads.
Dads, stand dads.
Double Stand Dads.
And some dads are named Stan. And so this is really just a double entendre.
Right.
Dad.
Stand double standards.
Yeah.
Dads.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read you something a parent did, and you have to tell us who did this, a fun dad or a bad mom.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Number one, is gluing bows to your baby's bald-ass head, is that something an over-enthusiastic dad showering his infant daughter with affection, or is it a mother who should be scrutinized by all of America for her commitment to femininity?
I think that was... Ooh... Dad had to do that. I'm
No.
wrong. See, oh my God.
If a dad did it, it'd be fun, but when a mom does it, this is what happens.
Okay. Actual glue?
I'm sure it's biodegradable or whatever. Mom Amy Davis Clark received backlash online for posting a video praising Girly Glue, a baby-safe hair glue she used to decorate her daughter's hair with bows.
Amy, don't do that
You
next
think no?
time. Amy.
I don't know. I think
Amy,
it's cute.
Amy, you can't do that. It doesn't even look like a bow. It looks like a bandage.
Yeah.
It looks like baby hit her head.
Is the baby eating the glue?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah. Looks like tomato paste also. So this whole photo's confusing to me, but yes. I'm like, that looks like the tomato paste I buy at the grocery store, and that looks like a bandage on the baby's head. But okay. We love you, Amy.
You know what?
Yeah.
I have a question about tomato paste.
Sure.
How long do you think, do you have to cook it, or can it just kind of go in right at the end?
I think you got to cook it. It's so rich and such a strange flavor. I feel like it needs to be cooked.
You got to cook it for a while?
I think it's got to be cooked.
Yes?
Yeah.
All
I
right,
don't think
well,
it's enjoyable. Have you been just at the end, right out the tube, slurping derping tomato paste?
I was wondering why it was weird.
Oh, no.
Not a good cook. Next up, not being enraged at having 4 daughters.
Oh, my gosh. That's going to be dad.
Yeah, 4 girls in one house, more like 4 Satans in 4 hells. Or is it? This is a fun dad embracing his crowing, squabbling brood.
Oh, girl dad.
Father Austin von Letkeman, I don't like that, went viral on Instagram in April for a video telling people to, for the love of God, stop coming up to him in public and saying, I'm sorry, when they find out he has 4 daughters.
Is that real?
They come up to him and say, sorry, you have 4 daughters.
That's cuckoo bananas. That's truly crazy. Then on one hand, I'm thinking, are the people doing that because they're like, oh, you're gonna have to protect your girls, or is it because girls are hard? What do we think the sorry is about? It's not okay, regardless.
Right.
But
I
want
think it's
to
like, bitches be crazy. That's how I
calling his
was.
poor children bitches.
They look very sweet.
They look so well. The one on the end.
It's just funny that it's like, this gets you on 4 girls, television.
Yeah. Well, girl dad. He's like this quintessential girl dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Couldn't that just be a dad?
That's just a
Can't
dad.
a girl dad just be a dad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a father of daughters, I care about equality. It's like, okay.
Yeah. All right.
Well, did you not get it before?
Right. I know. It's like, you don't need to have daughters or even a female cousin or like you could just go, equality is correct.
Right. Like, use your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine you're related to anyone.
Right. In life, frankly.
Right. Just sort of think of the world. They're all related to someone who cares about them.
Correct.
And that could have been you.
Right.
You could care about them. As if.
Facts.
It's interesting that people don't think that. Like, whenever a Republican politician who is anti-gay becomes pro-gay because their kid is gay, it's like, you're so close to getting it. You're so close.
Yeah.
Now imagine everyone that has everything is your son.
I'm with you, Lovett.
It's time for the Celebrity Parent Lightning Round. I will read you something a parent did. I need you to say mom or dad as your answer, and if you want a bonus point, you will tell us who that celebrity is.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Declared themselves co-parent of the child after initially trying to hide the existence of the child.
I'm hearing people say Arnold, so I'm going to go dad. Tom Brady
It's
also.
actually so many people. Texting with their 16-month-old child.
Texting with their 16-month-old child. Mom.
It was actually dad because in a baffling BBC interview, 83-year-old actor Al Pacino said of his 16-month-old son Roman, he does text me from time to time.
Al also saw death, right, or something. He says, okay.
He's been through it.
He's been through it.
Those eyes, those big eyes.
Those big, beautiful eyes. Expressive eyes.
They're really
That's
expressive.
what casting directors say they're looking for in talent. Big, expressive
Has
eyes.
Al Pacino ever hosted while you were there?
Unfortunately not. No. Yeah.
I bet that'd be fun.
I bet it would be fun.
Wearing a diamond-encrusted necklace that says Skibidi Toilet.
It's giving dad.
It was my mom, Kim Kardashian.
I don't know anything about parents. Okay.
No, well, this is why you need the podcast.
Yeah.
Whose daughter Northwest got her a Skibidi Toilet necklace for her 44th birthday.
Oh, fun.
Skibidi Toilet.
I don't understand what Skibidi Toilet is.
It's important that we never know.
Okay. Maybe today I can learn something. What is
Skibidi Toilet is a web series from Alexei Gerasimov on his channel Defuck Boom about a war between human-headed toilets and human-like characters with TVs for heads that has become wildly viral.
Didn't understand any of those words. And that's, my friend, is a Skibidi Toilet. I'm confused as well. Whoever said that in the audience is my kin. I'm also, that was a lot of words that
Yeah.
they all individually make sense, but then thrown together.
Culture's leaving us behind.
It is. I feel like the rapture has happened.
Yeah, that's what getting older is about,
Yeah,
I think.
so.
How is it working on SNL during an election year?
You know, it feels like this is what I think I've done it before. It feels the same, honestly, to be honest, every year in that way.
It's incredibly intense no matter what's going on.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a pressure to be part of this debate about in a way that's funny, even though the stakes feel so high?
Well, I think that, I mean, given it's a comedy show, the writers are always thinking funny first. And so I don't know that it feels they feel more pressure. I can't speak to it because that cold open that is usually political, I don't write and I'm rarely a part of. And so I don't know what they're thinking, but it's funny. And I think they're always aiming to make it funny and sort of draw from whatever is happening and has happened in the landscape that week. Yeah.
Do you ever hear from Jasmine Crockett?
I had lunch with Jasmine Crockett like last week.
Really?
Yeah. I had lunch with Jasmine Crockett last week. We talked about everything.
That's
everything.
Cool.
Yeah, it was very cool.
What'd you talk about?
Let me be mindful and demure. We talked about her. She's on the campaign trail for Kamala, so she's tired and she's bouncing all around. She's everywhere. And we talked about dating. We talked about, I feel like there was something else really juicy in there. I can't remember.
She's cool.
Yeah, she's really cool. I like her.
What's a piece of advice you got from a podcast dad that you actually found really helpful?
Recently, Langston Kerman was one of my dads, and I was asking him about ghosting, and he said that I found this fascinating. He was like, ghosting is not the violence we've made it out to be. He's like, I don't believe it is. He says, I actually think engaging with people when you're not interested is more violent than ghosting. And he was like, and if you've never made a promise to someone and it's very early on and you haven't made plans and it was one date, you can ghost rather than engage with them knowing you're not interested.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I have some ghosting regrets, and I think part of what makes I think sometimes what leads to ghosting is what makes it so bad to do is because in a date sometimes you will have this kind of like brief and false intimacy, which you'll kind of lean into, and then the date is over and you don't want that intimacy again.
Really?
That's how I'm saying you, but
and that's happened to me, you said? I'm yet to experience.
But you know what I mean? And so like I sometimes feel like when I have felt the worst is because like I had led someone on, no word, nothing.
You weren't like,
tangible.
Anything. Was there any talk of like, we should go to that museum? I'd love to go to that with you.
Yes.
There was that. Oh,
there's
see.
that level, but
Okay.
I think it's less about a specific plan for the future. There's no contract. There's nothing objective that you can point to, but there is a kind of, I think there's like an emotional line where you cross it and then you really owe somebody a text, and then I
would ghost.
I panicked. And I would not that I would ghost.
You would
This is
just
rare.
short
Rare.
answers.
And also like I'll come back to this. And then I never came back to it. And I feel guilty
and when
about
you
it.
say I'll come back to this, do you mean the text or
Yes.
this person?
Like, I
And
need
then,
to
so you
send this
did-
person a text.
So ultimately you did ghost.
Yes.
Okay. And that is rough. But you have regrets about it. So I don't need
Yes.
to shame you further.
No, but I do have regrets about it. Have you ever ghosted anybody?
Sure, lots of people.
Do you have regrets about it?
No, typically no. I have been on dates where I'm not having a good time. I'm like very aware of the time and just shy of, I don't wear a wristwatch, but I should start so that I can get a sense of how long we've been here. Because I've sat on dates and thought about the other person and I would not want them to feel rejected. So I've like let the date be a date. And in my mind, 2 hours, we did it, Joe. And I'm not interested and I'm not trying to sell you that narrative either. And then that person maybe after is like, let's do it again. And I'm like, unfortunately, I was not with you. I mean, I was
Right.
physically with you, but I was in no way having a time, and I was actively trying not to mislead you during that time.
But I bet here. Can I ask you a question?
Sure, you can. But if I answer, I should
Yeah,
say
you
so.
don't have
Okay,
to
okay,
answer,
okay,
and
but
that
you
goes
can-
for anything.
You can ask me.
You can get up and walk out anytime you want,
That's
and
a
then
fact.
and ghost. You can
That's
just disappear.
What if I ghosted this episode of the
Just gone.
That wouldn't be a ghosting because I'd be kind of sort of announcing my departure.
But there are dates where another person would be like, this is the best date of my life. And it's and for you, it's a B- at best, but you're very funny and charming. And so it's like, was it a good date, or did you just carry a great time?
I find myself asking this. I talk about it in therapy.
Really?
I do talk about it in therapy. I'll go on dates and genuinely not be trying to be charming, and in fact go, I'd like to see what you bring to the table, almost like an interviewer.
Right.
And so I think maybe that is what's happening. Maybe the other party is finding me fun and charming, but I'm actively, I feel like, toning it all like down and just being sort of drywall.
Yeah, but
don't-
how do we cover this light, you know? Need a pretty thick blanket. Cover this
That's
light.
very sweet. There may be something to that, and you might, yeah, but I talk about it in therapy because I'm like, it's interesting. They think that we had a great time, and I'm curious to know on what basis. I'm not. This sounds so bitchy.
No,
but
it's not. It's interesting.
I'm like, I know when I've had a really good time and me and another person are hitting it off, and it's like, oh my gosh, the energy, the vibes, we're both right here. What a time we're having. And then there's these other dates. There are these other dates that I'm like, that's not really happening. Did you really have a great time, or was I just not so bad, and thus that's a great time to you? Does that make sense?
No, it does
Yeah.
make. Yeah, it's interesting. Do you ever have the opposite, where you've put on quite a show and you realize after that was fun because I was on and I didn't really get much from the other person?
Yes, I have. I've gone on dates being like, I refuse to have a bad time tonight, so I'm gonna have a good time, and then it will be a good time. And then, but if we were to, post game inventory, if you will, I go, oh, they weren't really doing much of anything, but I wanted to have a good time that night, and I did. And whether you're sitting there or not, I was.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Sometimes you want to go on a date and you're like, I don't want to have a bad time, and so I'm not going to have a bad time. Yeah. But dating's weird.
It's hard.
Yeah. I don't even know if I think it's hard.
I'm sorry I said
No,
that.
no, you can. No, you said it's hard. I said it's weird. You have your opinion. I think it's strange. I think it's a strange thing.
Is there anyone here on a date? Wow.
Anytime
No.
that happens, is everyone coupled? Is that
Is everyone
why?
here? No one here is on a date?
Is everyone here single?
Wait, you're my date? No, we're not. You're on a date with me? Oh. How many people here are single?
That was like a big woo.
How many people here are coupled up? How many people
Bigger.
are here in polyamorous arrangements? Hasn't really caught. It's very
It hasn't-
online.
yeah.
Hasn't caught.
But I bet there are people here in polyamorous arrangements. Let's try again. Ask one more time.
Is anybody here in a polyamorous arrangement?
We found one.
Wow. Get him.
I knew it.
Bring in the police.
Wait, why is it?
Are you happy? Yes. Wow, that's nice. I think it's an abomination.
Are you happy? I think it's an abomination.
Nwodim, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you
here. This is
for
fun.
having me.
Everybody, check out the podcast. Thanks, Dad.
Thank you.